Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our English lessons for grade 4 at Almano International School. So today we will be focusing on a gift from the heart. Okay, this story can be found on page 421 in your reading street books. So this particular story, a gift from the heart. Okay, we will do an introduction and also we will focus on the high frequency words a little bit in today's lesson. So to do an intro, this story, A Gift from the Heart, is basically a drama. Okay, so a drama is a play for a theater, radio, or television. A drama, what comes to mind is a drama basically means people acting out a story for an audience, whether the audience is watching it on TV or the audience is listening to the play on a radio or an audience sitting in a theater. So that is what a drama is. A drama is a genre where characters in a story acts out the story itself. And A Gift from the Heart is basically a drama where people and characters, they act out the story for the reader. If one delves into the story itself, one will see that the most important theme or the most important message of this story is that sometimes when an important thing is needed, we need to sacrifice for the greater good. And that is what this story is. The theme of this story basically is when we're in a difficult situation, when other people relies on our actions, then we need to sacrifice not for ourselves, but for the community and the people that really needs our help. We need to give others preference. And that is the most important message of this gift from the heart. Jumping into the story, where we will see this theme throughout the story, is at the beginning of the story, we see that, like on this picture, there's beautiful flowers, there's a beautiful sunlight, some nice houses, and it's just happiness all around in the story. Why? Because when God sends rain, then flowers can grow and animals can eat grass, and everyone and humans can go to the streams and the rivers and drink water and make food and wash their clothes and do many things. Okay, but in this story it says it basically states that after receiving such nice conditions, suddenly a drought basically occurred. Okay, and a drought is a prolonged period of abnormally low rainfall leading to a shortage of water. So in this place where the story took place, these people experienced a drought where for a long period of time there was no water coming from the clouds, and as a result there was no flowers that grew and there was no grass that grew. So the animals that the people had of that community could not eat, and the animals started dying. And also in this time, because there was no water in the rivers and the streams, the people could not find water to survive. And as we see in the story, the little girl, which is one of the main characters in the story, her mommy and her daddy basically passed away in this drought because there was no water for them to survive. And it made this little girl an orphan in the story. Then the religious leader of the community, because he was the pious person in this particular story, he went to his community and said that I've spoken to God, and God has inspired me, uh, and he prayed to God, and God inspired him to speak to his people and ask his people to sacrifice what is very beloved to them. And all the people, although they needed water, although the animals needed the water to survive and not die, they were what was beloved to them, they were reluctant and they hesitated to give as a sacrifice for their God to send the rain through the clouds. And all the people basically they were very hesitant. They didn't want to give what was important to them to the fire so that their God can send the water. And we see further in the story that the little girl that lost her mommy and her daddy, she had a very, very beloved doll that was so that made her happy, that she considered her family, because she had no one that looked after her, that really loved her besides the community itself. She took this doll as her family. And when she went to go sleep one night, she told, she spoke to God and she told God, I'm going to sacrifice what is very, very beloved to me, my family, my doll, and I will give it to the fire. And please, through your mercy and through my sacrifice and through my care for everyone, and I don't want anyone else to pass away because of this drought, please send us rain. And she threw the doll into the fire in this one evening, and she went to go sleep. And as she was sleeping through the night, the god basically gathered the clouds, and the clouds started giving off water, and it started raining on this community. And when she woke up, she saw Eve. She came out of her house, and she saw everyone happy, and she saw the flowers on the grass because of the water that nourished the soil. And she saw in the river the streams, and she saw a lot of water, and the rivers were full of water, and it was going over the banks, and it was spilling over the banks. And she saw everyone happy because God sent the water because of her sacrifice. And we learn here from this particular story that sometimes we need to sacrifice, we need to give what is beloved to us to sustain and help the community and help our families and help our people and help help the planet Earth and all of us together. Sometimes we need to give preference to someone else, and that is a very, very important lesson that we take from this little girl. So now we will go into the vocab. Okay, so I explained to you guys earlier on at the beginning of this lesson what drama is. And the next word is shock. A shock is basically a sudden upsetting or surprising event or experience. A shock is basically when it's your birthday and you come home and everyone says surprise, and you shock and your face look like Thanos. Basically, that is a shock. It's a sudden surprising event or experience. Then we have a ceremonial. Ceremonial relates or is used for formal religious or public events. Whenever there's a nikah, a marriage, or when there is a birthday, or when there's a religious event, then that will be called a ceremony, and it will be known as a ceremonial event. Then the following vocab is basically backdrop. A backdrop refers to a painting cloth hung at the back of a theater stage as part of the scenery. So if we look over here, this is the backdrop, a painting at the back of the stage. If we look at this stage over here where these little girls are acting out in their drama, this thing at the back is basically a backdrop. It basically tells the reader and tells the audience and reminds the audience the theme of the story, what the story is about in most cases. Then we have the word abundance. Abundance is a very large quantity of something. If there's a large quantity of fruit, it will be abundance of fruit. If there's a large quantity of any item, there will be abundance of those things, right? And the opposite of abundance would be drought. A drought is a shortage of water. Okay, that is what a drought is. A drought is where there's a place where there's a long period without any water. And then the last vocab is basically graze in the story. It's when a cattle or sheep or any animal basically eats grass on a field. That's what it is. So grazing is basically eating for the animals such as cattle, sheep that feeds on grass. So just to recap on our lesson today, we basically discussed a gift from the heart, and the most important message, which was we need to sacrifice what is beloved to us sometimes for the greater good of everyone else and ourselves. And then we discussed the vocabs that is highly frequent in the story. And that's a wrap for today, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I wish you a wonderful day. Bye-bye.